Great. So can you start off and introduce yourself to our site visitors at Pop Culture Madness?
Okay. Hi, we're Jeremy and Kara from Shine Toy Guns.
Great. Well, we are out on the Tour Odyssey, and how's it going? I mean, I know there's some interesting things about this tour, especially with, kind of mixing artists of different genres and things like that. How is that working out?
I would say before we left, we were a bit hesitant, like, what's this going to be like? We're going out with essentially a reggae band,
Yeah.
This is not the norm. I looked up and it was butt on the screen. But they are such cool dudes, and we're seriously having a blast. And I think I'm gonna sing with them one night. We go in New York, and it's just been fun. And with Jared, the lead singer, used the term cross-pollinating, and it's kind of cool. It really fits what's happening right now, because we seem to be pretty well received by their fans and vice versa. So it's cool.
That's good. I mean, I think, when you get these, tours and even festivals now, you see so much genre blending and all that, and it seems to not matter so much, and I think that, fans can definitely open their ears and minds to something different, which is so important.
Exactly.
Yeah, the tour is meant to mimic what, the local radio station here is,
98 Rock?
No, the other one.
95.
97.5?
Oh, okay.
HFS?
Yeah.
Yeah. They, let's say if they were to do a radio show and they booked Dirty Head, Shines with Guns, nobody would think it was weird in any way. And that's sort of the point, is to make this sort of traveling show of multi-genre music.
Like a circus.
Yeah. I'm the zebra.
Why is that?
Because I have zebra pajamas.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Kara is...
The hairless woman.
The hairless...
The hairy woman.
Kara's the hairy
The bearded
woman.
woman.
The bearded woman who refuses to show her legs.
I just put a beard on every night.
So everybody will get their own animal nicknames on this tour.
Yeah. Charlie's up with a LARPer. We have a light guy who's he's a real...
Well, he's not a live action role player, but...
Oh, he's not?
No, it's more historic.
Oh, you have a LARPer?
But he's not a LARPer. He does not want to be called a LARPer. We call him a LARPer to mess with.
Okay.
He's not a LARPer. It's more historical based, and it's real.
Like, he carries a sword, and he's serious.
Oh, like a legit sword? Not like a foam wrapped up duct
No,
tape
it's not
sword?
like it's not like the restaurant. What's it called? Awesome. With the jousting and stuff.
Oh, like
Medieval
those-
times.
Medieval
It's not
times.
medieval.
Is that medieval times in Baltimore?
Yes.
We're from
They
Philly.
do?
so-
You guys are from Philly.
They do?
They do.
Oh, okay.
Looks like someone's been to medieval times.
Someone likes their turkey legs.
Yes.
Somebody's going for the white knight.
There's some people that get really, really into that.
Oh, I've seen it. It's like there's all these kids having a good time. There's this random 40-year-old who's like, "Oh, the blue knight."
It makes me think of the movie Role Models. I think that's,
Or
that's
the
the
Jim
vision I
Carrey
get.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one was that? The Cable Guy. It's Cable Guy. Yeah.
That's crazy. So, you guys are still currently touring behind 3, right? And
It just started, actually.
Yeah, I mean, how happy are you with the album, the way it's been received from fans? Because you guys definitely are not afraid to take some risks. Like, with your sound, it's great.
We haven't had anything negative come back from the record, really. And we didn't know whether... Well, I mean, to be honest, we stopped that record from coming out so many times because we weren't sure of it. That when we finally, 3 years later or more, said this is it, this is as far as we can take it, we were pretty sure that we made something that was good enough to where we could stand behind it and know that first wave of opinions coming through weren't going to be these terrible fire blankets. And fortunately, it was
totally
better.
happy with it.
Yeah.
So,
it's been doing really well.
yeah, I mean, with it being like 3 years, in the making, how much, did you change? Did you go back and tweak stuff? I'm sure.
Yeah.
So much.
The final versions of these songs are much different than when they were originally started. Much different.
There's pages of, a lot of our songs have, there's all these different session files, and they're dated, and some of them, you can just scroll pages and just see the the months go by, then it turns to the years, and then it's like,
wow.
And the title starts changing, and it's the growth process. It's like seeing those really awesome time lapse things in museums where you see a person sitting in a chair in a window, and they take the same picture for like 7 years, and you see that person grow. That's what our songs do. It's really crazy.
So, I mean, looking back on that, is there anything that didn't make the cut that you would possibly, revisit again, or you guys just kind of want to start fresh from there?
Like on a fourth album?
Mm-hmm.
There's tons of scraps.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say full songs. I would say if anything, that's what Stay Down and My Reptile Friend were, and we put them on bonus tracks because we did want them to be a part of this. So I would say there's lots of ideas for the next album.
A lot of bands do that. You sort of take, if you were to mow down a cafeteria and you leave a mess everywhere, you can come back and kind of put a meal together out of the scraps.
Okay.
I've obviously haven't eaten yet.
Well, no, I mean, I'm sure during creative sessions there's always some stuff that somebody feels particularly strong about and it just, didn't fit for that particular project or at that particular time.
We have a chorus or two around that definitely is going to carry over for sure.
So, when you guys had, some lineup changes and things like that going on in the time, I'm sure a lot of that reflects, within the lyrical content of everything too. Is it, kind of hard to revisit some of that, or does it just kind of show your growth as musicians and a band overall?
Yeah, I think you answered it. The lyrics in this record are very personal timestamps, like capsule you bury in the ground and put your name on it. It's what we were going through, what we went through, and the next record is probably going to be the same thing. It's just like timestamp. It was way more personal than the other two records. Just, you have your whole life to make your first album. So it was like just a lot of randomness, random thoughts and songwriting from all different parts of life. The second record was a whole different, really dark place that we went. And then the third album was the rebuilding, the three things: life, death, and love. And coming back, going away. All those things that we personally went through, interpreted into song.
Absolutely. I think that, fans can appreciate the honesty of what's going on, especially if they've been following the story and what's going on. They appreciate that type of honesty that's put forth in the lyrics. They can tell when it's fake.
Yeah.
Definitely.
They see right through it. Completely right. And I think we knew that going into this. We knew that in our hearts, what was going on is we were putting back together the band the way it was supposed to be. And we just how do we show that? How do we tell the story? How do we, show that it's real, that we're back together, and that we love each other.
So, I mean...
Come on in, Chad. Come on in.
Come here, bud.
Okay.
And number 3, Chad.
Hey!
Butt shot.
Sorry about that. I gotta go sing and stuff.
Yeah, me too.
I really do.
Come on, finish out with us.
I'm sorry. I gotta go sing.
Well, we haven't been looking for a minute. So, I mean, what I thought was pretty cool when I was looking at your website is that you guys had so many recommendations of other artists to check out. Like, I saw a band called Haim, on there. We just saw them open for Mumford & Sons, which is pretty cool. But you guys have everything from Passion Pit to Kiss. And, what are some of your influences early on?
Early on? Like pre-first album?
Mm-hmm.
Let's start.
Well, everything that I still listen to, I listen to only old music, really. Jeremy's the new music guy. Jeremy's always got his ear to the ground, but I listen to so much right now. Fleetwood Mac, still ABBA for their melodies, Billy Joel, Nat King Cole. We all love Pink Floyd. Huge Eric Clapton fans.
Layla.
No. That is a good song. Who else? I mean, I come from a lot of hardcore metal background, but that's not really what I'm listening to now at all, really. I like folk, but not like the big folk bands. old folk, Simon and Garfunkel and stuff like that. A lot of old stuff, you know, all the time. Jeremy likes the new stuff.
Yeah, I like new music. I like to listen to. I don't just buy something because it's new. I like to go through and just listen to what's new, and then the ones that they're sort of leading a melodic charge. I'll dive into their story, and usually I'll find a band that's like there's this English band called Churches with a V instead of a U, and they have like 6,000 or 7,000 fans on Twitter. They're just getting started, and they have just this beautiful music, and it's really hard for a UK band on a UK label to get a kickstart here in America, and it was really hard for us to get a kickstart in the UK. So I hate the word karma because I don't think that's real, but in the psychology of like not being so focused on self, being focused on others, and that coming back on you, I believe in that. And if the more we can do to help a younger band, I believe that will be reciprocated back to us in someday, some way, you know.
Absolutely. I think it's a good thing because, you know, a lot of bands don't even seem to take notice of people that, you know, I mean, for all you know, you are a big influence of theirs, and you know, they don't even seem to pay attention to that, you know, and it means a lot
we
when they're
had
starting
help.
out.
When we first started, we had so much help from so many other, like,
That's how we survived.
yeah, even bands, like, we play shows with, like, bands, kind of like this tour, we play shows with, like, Avenged Sevenfold and stuff like that, and they would be like, dude, your record is, like, our bus record. And we're just like,
Yeah,
really?
we had the same thing happen with the Sounds, where we were, their first record in America, that was, like, our anthem. We loved it.
Yeah, we loved it.
And when we met them, and they're like, really good friends, but when we met them and they told us that they, like, repeat Don't Cry Out in their bus every day, we were like, whoa, like, it was just cool.
Freaked out. I was like, oh my
It
god.
was just so cool to have, like, this mutual appreciation for each other that it was awesome.
Yeah, there's no competition in music. It's a parallel universe. So it's not like you're fighting
Well, there
someone.
is, but there shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Some people think there is. I mean, there is a. If you look at things in radio terminology, there's just so many slots, there's so many bands, and somebody's got to draw a line at one point.
Right.
But at the same time, like, if everybody's doing cool stuff, and you're doing cool stuff, or you're trying to, then it should all. If everybody holds hands, we can go together in some way or form.
Well, I'm sure we definitely have the rise of social media to thank too for, you know, a lot of people being able to find out about one another quite easily, at least more easily than they were before.
Yeah.
How big of a tool has that been for you guys?
It's a huge tool.
our
It's
biggest
just
tool.
normal. It's like the
It's become the norm.
It's been
That's
norm.
like,
It's been the norm for many years
Mhm.
now. Like, I look back on the old industry, and it's like thinking about touring with an atlas. Like, how the hell did we do that?
Yeah.
You know, like, and I guess we did it. How did we? I don't even remember that.
The game is just different. I mean, it takes the mystery a little bit out of things because it's so important that you talk to your fans. You know? We love talking to your fans, to our fans, but the game is different.
That's what so many people have mentioned to me, that this, you know, shroud of mystery, like you said, has been lifted from rock and roll, and, you know, now it's, you know, unheard of for artists to not be accessible anymore to fans. I mean, they want to know exactly what you're doing almost every minute of the day.
They want to know your personality, what makes you tick. They're obsessed with it, and that's fine. I mean, that's just how it is. It's not going to change because now that's what they want.
Exactly. So, for either one of you, did you have a pivotal music moment that occurred in your life that made you decide you wanted to pursue it for a career?
I've known that I wanted to sing since I can remember, and I was little. My grandfather sang, so I started singing sort of to him and to my grandmother who played piano, and I never really stopped. So I wasn't like a one moment change. It was kind of all I knew, and I just loved it. Not just the singing, but performing. I loved standing up in front, like whether it was making people laugh or reading a monologue. I just loved being in front of people and making them smile.
Cool.
Singing was easiest.
I think that the actual very, very defined start of me wanting to do my own original music was when my piano teacher, when I was like 12 or 13, I did I had to memorize For Elise at its original tempo, at its original all 4 pages.
Oh.
Actually, it's like the second movement is really, really complicated. It's like dun, 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 it's like really, really hard, and I found it to be very, very, very German traditional. Very, it was written 500 years ago, and I had another idea, so I slowed it down. I did a chord change, and I spent hours on this every day.
How
I
old
was
were you
so
when
I
you
was,
were doing
I was like 11 or 12.
Oh, wow.
And I was so proud of this new thing, and I went to my piano teacher and I played it and just nailed it. And she looked at me, she goes, "You can't do that." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You can't do that. You can't make it louder here. You can't slow it down here." And I was like, "Yes, I can. I changed it. It's better now." She's like, "No, this is what he wanted it to be like." And I was like, "But he's dead." And this is, I didn't get it. I was really, really mad. I was like, I don't understand why I can't change this to make it better. And
So he killed his teacher.
and then I grabbed her.
That was the end of her.
I pulled her over the piano. Blood and guts were squishing together in a ball like spaghetti
And this
sauce.
suddenly turns into a horror movie.
But that, I mean, and but the cool thing is, she scolded me and sent me home, and then called my parents and said, "Your son's he's gonna do something in music." And I don't have any students that are doing
Well, at
this.
least she was able to see that, and that's good.
I did kill and eat her later, but still.
So, I think what's so cool about your music is that you can appeal to rock fans and electronic fans at the same time. How do you feel about both of those genres? I mean, do you guys ever get, one side versus the other, like, no, it's electronic, no, it's, a bagel of the two genres,
Well,
I
think
guess.
both sides would like to claim us, but we feel dedication and excitement for both. That's why we make the music the way we do, because it both come out of us. And there's no defining line. It's not like 60% this and 40% this. It's just like, when music is true to you, it's what you are, and that's, for this project, Shiny Toy Guns, that's what Shiny Toy Guns is, and always will be, a fusion.
Yeah, totally.
So,
I mean, we used to get flack at the very, very beginning when the internet was still like 04, 05. Everybody had an AOL account, and you didn't find your music on the internet still. And we still, we have a little bit of a retro futurism vibe to some of the synth programming. We're very melodic, very, you could be interpreted as sort of a throwback 80s vibe. And back at that time, if you had keyboards and vocals, you're 80s. But that, as the internet took over and people started realizing that that's all the other things going on in the world, everyone just stopped doing that, and nobody ever claimed that we were this or that, or rock or electro. The only people that actually care about that are kind of older generation mass media avenues that they're not ready to grasp, like, God, is this rock? And I just don't understand. When the people listening to these major media outlets don't care. They either like it or they don't.
I know, I think you're exactly right, because I think, I hate when it's, trying to tell an artist, oh, can you box yourself in one particular genre, and that's so hard to do now, and it is just so, journalists, or maybe have some place to put them, or, if this is your target audience, or that's your target audience, and it really, I think you're right, it doesn't matter anymore.
If you look at this little WordPress thing we do called Pound Now Playing, you'll see, like spoken wheel genrering. Like there'll be a hip hop song, a metal song, a pop song, a ballad, because when stuff passes over the earballs of, oh my God, I said earballs, the ears of us or whatever, it's like, oh, that's cool, And maybe it's a Kiss song, maybe it's a Beach House song, maybe it's a Jay-Z song, maybe it's a song that came out 20 years ago that just now, like, I never really got into this 90s band called Vast. They were a sort of goth, a new wave goth band that came, it's like Pulp, they came at the wrong time. Pulp came out in 94, 93, in the peak of Nirvana. He wants to do an indie Britpop band at that time that was done. Now it became big in the Double Zeros again, but Pulp came out at the wrong time. Vast came out in 1998 in the middle of Puff Daddy and Stone Temple Pilots and all that crap. And so they were just kind of lost to this underground world. And a friend of mine passed me the record. I was like, wow, this is so cool. And they're like, it's 12 years old. I was like, are you serious? I had no idea. But that's the thing about none of us care if it's rock or anything. Never even thought about, should I not listen to this because it's a punk record? Should I not listen to this because it's a Miami-based freestyle track?
Yeah.
And we're critical music people. Imagine how non-judgmental, ordinary people are whose life and daily work are not focused on music. It's just common sense. Why would you subgenre and categorize things and say, I can't play this, or I can't get behind this because it's not this color? It's almost like musical racism.
Oh, I mean, that's what we'll run into the problem a lot, running a music website, like, where they're like, okay, you can't put a Disney artist next to a death metal artist, and I'm like, well, why can't I? You know what I mean? Like, I want to write about all of it, and I see what you're saying with that. Definitely.
Things are opening up. If you look at Pitchfork, the quintessential snob blog, they will write about, the coolest, most rare, most indie band in the world, and in the next breath, they'll write positively about Rihanna. Mm-hmm. And 3 years ago, you never would have saw that. Never. So things are slowly, the gap is starting to comfortably open up for all different kinds of music to go into.
Absolutely. I mean, I look at it as a universal language anyway, and it, evokes an emotion within people, listeners, even if we take different messages away. Is there anything particular you hope your music will say to listeners? Thinking about it maybe in that vein.
I mean, I think we're real careful with the messages we reflect in our music and lyrics. So whatever, just the approach that we take on stuff is always to be something to be useful through muck and mud, through life stuff. There's a million songs that Kara and I have privately that we go to when things just aren't going right. It's like a phone call. It's like a phone call to somebody that kind of helps you, get you out of a little hole. And the greatest thing for us is to be able to provide that for somebody, and on whatever personal or private level they have.
Oh, absolutely. It can be just as therapeutic to the listener as it is to the artist creating it, I'm sure. So, after the Tour Odyssey here, what is next on the horizon for the rest of this year for you guys?
We don't know. It kind of depends on where the red fern grows. Did you ever read that book? You gotta read that book. It's in this day and age, you kind of have to. I know that we have some European stuff that's starting to bud. We finally got all the release. Sorry, it's a Chris Farley movie on over here. Worst idea ever. Put a Chris Farley movie in front of our interview. Like, oh my god. We
have lots of potential things and nothing like solid. We have UK possibilities and even potential other places in the world, but nothing definitive. We have a second leg of this tour that we'll do, which is more exciting now that we know this is working out, that we get along with other bands and whatnot. And a lot of it will depend on radio and things like that, and how well current single does and stuff, but lots of potential things.
That's great. And I guess to kind of wrap it up with you guys, what would you say would be one of the most misunderstood things about Shiny Toy Guns?
Misunderstood.
Any strange rumors floating around Wikipedia or any fun places like that?
Nothing more, thank God.
That's good.
Yeah,
No, we're not dirty. We don't have any beef to talk about.
A boot. You talk a boot.
Well, Ganesh, all of a sudden, we don't have anything. Oh God! Here comes the bird. Yeah, I mean, maybe we should do something. Start a little story.
We could think of something right now.
We're late on the on the Harlem Shake vibe. Should jump on that. Man,
Yeah, everybody has to make a viral Harlem Shake video because that's.
Yeah. I had a great idea for it. We'll never do it.
What was
We would
your-
win.
well-
We would win forever if we did. So we're in a room doing our thing. It's a decent sized room. I'd say 3,000 square feet or so. Enough room to put 500 puppies in when the camera cuts. Every girl would be like, 500 puppies!
Where are you going to get 500 puppies?
That's why we haven't done it yet. I don't think such a place exists. If I didn't PETA would just have that place
They
burned to the
probably
ground. It's like a puppy farm.
You got the animal rights activists.
Then I would think of the press though.
But puppies and kittens, both, cats rule the internet, so that's just the
Yeah.
way it goes.
Or snakes. God, I hate snakes. Real bad. Did you hear what the fiasco guy? Did he tell you the story about the python?
I don't hear
Yeah, so I guess that's we have no dirty bad stories, no drama.
But that's a good thing.
It's good.
It is definitely a good thing. Because sometimes the more drama that floats around, the more problems there are.
Yeah, that's true.
Unfortunately, that's what a lot of people tend to want to vibe out on that a little more than the music itself. But
He's in the eagle nest?
yeah,
Is that why the eagle's so pissed?
yeah, because he keeps making eggs with his eggs. It's the same sound effect every time. Oh my God!
You guys could do what is it, Mystery Science Theater on the
Yeah.
Chris Farley movie.
So you remember when Abbey Road?
Well, I want to thank you guys for taking a few minutes out to speak with me. I appreciate it. I'm sure the best place to keep up to date with you is, Facebook, Twitter,
Absolutely.
website,
Yeah.
all that
Instagram and stuff.
fun stuff. We'll make sure to direct our site visitors to check that out and definitely get out to see a show. It's important.
Yes, please.
Great. Thank you guys.
Thank you.